All right, it's January 15th, 2026, and I'm joined here with Quinn Lyness, the founder of the Canadian Track and Field League, or CTFL. How's it going? Thanks a lot for joining us today.
Yeah, pleasure being here. It's been very exciting to be on your podcast.
Yeah. I don't know if it's officially a podcast yet. It's more, just kind of get some interviews. I'd like to do more with some athletes and some coaches and just have some conversations. Like I talk to a lot of cool people around the track anyway, so might as well like give a public forum to all these people, including yourself.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. So I'm from Canada originally, but I've been out of the country most of the last 6 or 7 years. So that's around the time I think you've been going with the Canadian Track and Field League. So
Mhm.
I'm aware of what you're doing, but I don't know all the details. I'd like to start. Can you just explain a little bit what is the Canadian Track and Field League?
Yeah, so the Canadian Track and Field League was created in 2021, and then its first season was officially 2022. So created just prior to like the beginning of the year, and then first season was 2022. So we're going to our fifth year now. CTFL was created with the aim of assisting track and field as a broader entity grow, both for fans and for athletes, keeping those two stakeholders in mind primarily. We created a four-team league with currently 10 disciplines. So there's 8 track events and 2 field events. So we have one throw and one jump. And last year we had close to 200, we had about 280 athletes. And this year we should have about the same. We have athletes ranging from multi-time Olympians to athletes that are actually still currently like high school, usually like high school phenoms that would later go on to probably compete at like the Olympic Games if they continue on their current trajectory. But yeah, so it's a wide variety, and yeah, that's usually about the gist. Athletes will compete at 3 meets throughout their season. So we have a free mark, which an athlete gets to compete anywhere in the world as long as it's tracked by the governing body. And we have one prelim meet and then the finals. So we have 5 prelim meets across Canada from Montreal to Vancouver. So a great distance. And then the finals is hosted in Ottawa, which is the kind of the season culminating meet.
Yeah. And what's the duration of your season this year? I think it starts in, is it May this year?
Yeah, it's about mid-May. So the dates aren't completely finalized yet, but it'll be about 7 weeks.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have 6 meets in 7 weeks, which is a lot of racing. Athletes only need to compete at one of the prelim meets and then the finals. So it's not like they have to compete at every single one of these meets. So they really just have to attend 2 CTFL official meets.
Yeah. Um, I think this year, I think we talked a couple of weeks ago. I think you told me you're trying to fit it in around a very early nationals this year.
Yes, yeah.
So when is the final this year?
So it's gonna be June 27th is the CTFL finals, and then we host another kind of high school event called the Trials. So it's the CTFL New Balance Trials on the 28th.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's gonna be a very short season, a lot of work, and I hopefully pull it off.
Yeah, I feel you. For myself, I know there's not much on the international schedule, and after World Championships, so October, November. So I was using that time to do all the like redevelopment, write a bunch of new code for the website, and just kind of like chill out a little bit before. I think it's the New Balance games, the first one on the international schedule in January 24th, I want to say, and then the Milrose games, and then we're basically right into it. Um,
Exactly.
yeah. Are you having you're having a training camp this year with the CTFL?
Yeah, so this is the third iteration of the CTFL New Balance Boston training camp. So we go down, we bring some of our top athletes to Boston for a week. This time it's about 10 days, where the athletes get to kind of live like a full on like pro athlete lifestyle where like we go, it's fun. It's like a training camp. We rent out a big Airbnb, people bunk up and stuff, and then they're able to kind of train at the at the New Balance track. So the track at New Balance. So it's one of the best facilities in the world. We have like near exclusive access to it, which is pretty cool. And then we watch the pros, interact with them pretty frequently, and
Yeah.
then they compete themselves, usually at Boston University. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, no,
I've been down there myself the last 5 years, and it's very chaotic at those meets. But it's as
mhm.
a jumper, I loved it because like you get the bounce out of the old wooden frame down there, and Yeah, I know the distance runners as well. They always put up some big times.
Yeah. Yeah. Big mile times.
Yeah. So how big of a squad do you bring down for that?
We've kind of brought it down every single year. So first year was 9, last year was 8, this year is gonna be 7 athletes.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a bit the sweet spot. Yeah, it's gonna be really fun to kind of see how it all kind of turns out. Every year's a little bit different. This year we're bringing down. We have Misha Powell, who's an Olympian, as well as Celia Markonovich. I'm hopefully pronouncing her name correctly,
Yeah.
as well as Bridget Brennan on the female side, and on the men's side, we have Brendan Letts, who's actually a returning athlete to the
Mhm.
series, as well as Dawson Mann, 800-meter athlete, Leroy Russell III, who's another 800-meter athlete, and uh, who else am I bringing down? Well, that's six, so seven is. Oh my God, I'm so bad. Yeah, I forget. I think it's another female athlete.
Yeah. Well, hopefully
Yeah,
they see this and they call you out for forgetting
yeah,
their name.
yeah, exactly. I feel so bad. I've been jumping meeting to meeting today, so
Yeah. Yeah, right on. Um, Going back to the beginning, so you started in 2022, is that
yeah.
correct?
First official season is 2022.
Yeah. And this is number 5 coming up. Quick math, 22, 20. Okay, yeah, 5.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, how has it changed throughout the years? Like from your first iteration, I imagine it's often kind of like you go through the process and then you kind of know, okay, here's all the things we need to improve on, here's all the things that went really well, and you can kind of put it all together. So how has it evolved in those 5 years?
yeah. I think first 2 years I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah,
Like you have a general sense, but you're creating like most companies that you make. Like usually it's like a restaurant, and like everyone knows how generally how a restaurant works, and it's pretty easy to find out like using the internet, like how to run a
yeah.
restaurant.
You know, you need
Whereas like
food, and then you know
yeah,
you need to make food.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So like but this is like it's a completely new thing, and there is nothing like the CTFL. So it's kind of like sometimes trial by fire. So from the first season, we had a really small budget. Like I always tell people, that we had a budget of like $13,000, which is less than like your family car. Like if, if you're like, you know what I mean? It's pretty crazy to think about creating a national league with that amount of money now. But yeah, so we try to keep costs low. So we partnered with Meats, and
Yeah,
that was like kind of a saving grace, um, in terms of logistics as well. And then we just kind of provided like really good content and was producing content. And to be honest, it was a very small operation. I remember we got to like 25,000 views on like one of our videos, and we thought that it was like the craziest
yeah,
thing like ever, right? Like you're like, oh my God, like wow. And now like 25K for a video is like pretty like subpar for
yeah,
the
yeah,
CTFL at this point. So um yeah, it's been really interesting kind of see the growth, and then we've just slowly built upon our team structure. So we've kept it pretty similar. Like this year's our biggest shakeup. We're removing utility athletes and making everybody what we had deemed a core athlete. If you don't know what that is, it's not important anymore, so that's good.
yeah,
And yeah, so now everyone's kind of just like under the same umbrella. So that's probably one of the biggest like league structure changes that we've made in recent history. We added 2 events in our second season, and then haven't added anything recently. And it's just because like we want to provide the best um, uh, environment for our athletes and fans. So like by adding more and more events, you're just kind of like needing to have more and more resources to kind of like do the same task and same provide the same kind of quality.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Right on. Well, um, I understand what you're saying. Like you started off small and you have to build over time. Like it's almost a bit of like fake it till you make it. Like you have a very limited budget, but you kind of like like the little dog. Like, I'm currently in Italy, and there's so many of those like those little dogs, and they they bark loud, and they think
yeah,
they embody this big dog. It's so hard to get people like on board with anything, like especially if you don't have like a huge budget for marketing to get yourself out there. Like now with like Instagram and all the platforms, it's like you scroll down your feed and it's all just like AI slop, AI slop, AI slop, clickbaity AI slop, and then you're trying to like create something that you actually care about and something that you think that people will enjoy, and then it gets lost in all the noise. Um,
yeah.
yeah, so I hope we can help a little bit to get you guys out there and about
Thank you.
I think maybe about 30% of the followers on our accounts are from Canada, and the rest are abroad.
Nice.
So I'm sure by now everyone in Canada knows the CTFL, or everyone in the track community at least.
Yeah, I would say so. Unless you're like new to track, there's some like high schoolers that don't like really know what it is. But like if you're in a club, generally you would know what CTFL is at this point. Like it's very hard to not know. Whenever I go to meets now, especially like I'm a coach as well, so like I'll go to a bunch of like the high school meets, um, for the club. It's kind of funny to see like you'll see kids like they see me walking by and they're like, oh, I'm a CTFL guy. Like it's like so everyone kind of knows like CTFL for sure, me to a lesser extent, but like if
Yeah,
they're picking me out from a crowd, like it means that like we've accomplished something so far.
yeah, it's great. Yeah, let's start practicing your autograph
Yeah,
for
yeah. I
all
don't
those
get
kids.
any autographs. Yeah, I get a lot of photo requests though, which is funny.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I've signed one autograph in my life as a track athlete, and it was 2012 nationals. I think I finished like sixth in the triple jump back when you could like do well with 14s. You didn't need to jump 16 meters to like get on the podium. And there was
yeah,
this kid with his dad, and I think he was moving to Halifax, and he found out that I was from
yeah.
Halifax, and he wanted an autograph because of that. Um, so I think I'm at one autograph so far.
Nice.
Yeah. Um,
Cool.
so going back to your growth over the last 5 years, what
Mhm.
have some of the main challenges you've faced been over that period?
I'm happy to say it wasn't really athlete buy-in. Like that could have been something that really held up the league and its development, like even just the creation of it. Athletes were super, super involved in the creation of CTFL. Think because I am an athlete, and at the time, like I think I'm probably gonna retire this year. But for the first 4 years of the CTFL, like I was an athlete that like viewed myself as such. So that was big. I think funding, we didn't have very much funds to begin with, and when you're creating something new, it's very difficult to go and you know um, get any funding. Like I couldn't go get even an investment. Like if someone wanted to invest in the CDFL, because you have no idea what the result is going to be. There's, it's kind of like a, not to compare it to like an Airbnb or something like that, but it's like completely innovative. Any league that has happened in the past hasn't necessarily been successful. So we have a really bad track record of failing as a like a concept. So far, I think like CTFL is one of the longest lasting sports like track and field leagues ever, which is kind
Yeah,
of funny. But yeah, so finances is definitely a big one. We had a very small budget, so learning how to make that work. I have a kind of a almost like a corporate strategy background, so I am pretty good at understanding like if we go down this path, like what are the different like branches, like what are other issues that will kind of arise and try and mitigate all those um, was a big thing. So I think that's for me my superpower. So we didn't have too many like huge hiccups. I think the other big one is like the governing bodies weren't a huge fan of us. So like trying to convince them to like allow us to exist almost was a big hurdle. It's just because
you
like
mean like
they
Athletics Canada or like the provincial
yeah.
bodies?
Both. Like I had a phone call with like the CEO of AO, Athletics Ontario, and then one of their the employees at Athletics Canada on the same day, and they were both not very happy with the creation of it because I didn't really tell them what I was doing, and also I didn't know what I was doing because I just kind of had this concept for a league and posted it to social media, and then it caught what I considered fire. We had like 1,000 followers in like a week and a half or something,
Yeah,
and yeah, and then got a phone call, actually a couple emails. First of all, I didn't know, no one should have known who created the CTFL because I didn't tell anybody at that point. So they somehow found out and they contacted me, and I had to go have meetings with them and tell them what I was trying to do, and they weren't very happy with it. So it probably took like the first 2 years to kind of like have them kind of more geared towards our side. And I'm happy to say like their relationships are much better, and like AO, which was one of the ones that actually pushed back harder on the CTFL, they've actually stood up for us in recent years and stuff. When people have come and not complained, but like there was another person trying to create a not track league, but the Legion Nationals, which is an event hosted for youth in Canada.
yeah. For those
They're
outside the country, it's the Canadian like under 16 and under 18 championships.
Exactly. So like they have multiple rounds, and one of their rounds landed at the same time as like our new event called the trials for like high school event for high school athletes. And we had already kind of told them when our dates were going to be, and they had not told anybody yet when their kind of races were going to be. And so they went to complain to Athletics Ontario, and Athletics Ontario actually pushed back and said like, no, like we think that what they're doing is really good for the sport, and we're going to support them. So yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I never really thought about how the governing bodies might have seen like a league, an upstart league, let's say. It kind of reminds me a little bit of like obviously the big news story in the last 6 months has been Grand Slam track.
Mm,
You're saying that you're one of the longest lasting track leagues. Well, I think you
yeah.
what did they last, like 9 months maybe? So I think you're doing a lot better
Yeah.
than they managed, and
Yeah.
they have I think $12
Yeah.
million dollars in unpaid debts or whatever it's sitting at the moment.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
just over that, I think.
Yeah, but some of the quote, like they obviously the head of World Athletics had a few quotes on it, and he seemed like there's a bit of a rivalry there as well between like the sanctioned World Athletics events plus these leagues where it's good. It
Mm,
brings attention to the to the sport, but yeah, I see why there could be pushback. Like they're worried that it could potentially hurt the reputation. I guess if something like Grand Slam track happens, where like obviously this has been people who like have not followed along with track the last 5 6 years. They're now seeing like Michael Johnson and all this like the scandals that are coming out. So now like it's not the kind of media attention you want on the sport.
yeah, exactly.
Enhanced games is another one that's been coming out, which I've been getting messages from people just basically saying we're sick of hearing about it. So I'm kind of like ignoring the updates on that one for now. But yeah, I'm glad. So everything now is it's kind of copacetic between you and the
Yeah.
boards.
Yeah, I think it's like it was like it's hard, right? Because they have a different mandate than like CTFL would. So it was kind of hard to convey that message. But I think once they kind of like started to understand like what I was trying to do, like they got a little bit more on board. And I tried to accommodate them, like right, like we're now CTFL Finals is now part of the National Track and Field Tour, which is put on by Athletics Canada, and that allows athletes to get like it's the classified meets where like you're able to get we're a Class D meet, so athletes that win our
Hmm.
meet get more points, so they uh, hopefully they qualify for nationals for a national team. So like we're trying to like accommodate and operate within their realm. One of the biggest issues that they had was like they were worried that we were going to be creating more and more meets, which they were trying to prevent because they want more talent kind of like going towards single meets, right? So the competition level of competition is elevated, which makes sense, right? Because elevated competition hopefully means to better results. More better results allow for a stronger national team, right?
Yeah.
So like we completely agree and like saw eye to eye, but I think like they came in and like the one thing that I'll say is like they both came in kind of like more confrontational, and I was just trying to like I'm just trying to help, right? Like I'm an athlete. Most of like none of their employees really are like athletes at this point. Like they were
Hmm.
former athletes, most of them, but like I have a different perspective because I have a master's degree in international business with like focusing on corporate strategy. So like not to say I'm probably a little more educated than the average person that they employ, and I have different perspective, which I think is always valuable, and that's what I'm trying to convey is like there's multiple ways of doing there's multiple ways of skinning a cat kind of thing,
Yeah.
and I have a different perspective than they do, and I try to take a step back and realize that I'm hopefully pretty good at understanding that as a business owner you kind of have to be, so yeah, like that'd be kind of the one knock sometimes against like the organizing bodies is like they see it their way, and when I first came in it was like their way or the highway,
Hmm.
and I kind of disagree with that, and I think they've come around to it, which is good, and I've really tried to be accommodating towards them, and I think it's been a good relationship now, and it started a little rocky but much better now.
Yeah, it can also just be a little bit like you know you're the new guy, and
Yeah.
in any kind of group. Like I've spent a lot of time in Italy over the last 5 years, and I found like compared to other places I've lived, it's very like clicky here. A lot of people like
Mm.
I'm currently in Rome, and a lot of people they're still friends with their high school friends, and they're in their bubbles like, from high school. So it's really hard to kind of get into those bubbles. And I think it's like that for any kind of closed organization or closed group. like imagine like you're a little kid going to like a new school for the first time. There's always like that tentativeness of like it's kind of like that. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So, um, let's project ahead another 5 years. Like if everything went like 99th percentile, everything goes amazing. Like how would you like to
Mhm.
continue to grow the league, and where would you like to kind of build towards?
I like how it's like everything goes right.
Yeah,
That would be
yeah.
great. Yeah, I think biggest things for us is like getting onto national television is a big thing. So like we're starting to have conversations right now with like Bell, Rogers, which are like the big media communication companies in Canada that
Yeah.
own a lot of the sporting entities like TSN,
A
Sportsnet,
lot of the
which are like
country, I would say, are owned by those two companies.
exactly. Yeah, so like we're trying to get in with them or potentially CBC, which we've tried in the past, but that isn't our hard thing. Like they haven't been super sometimes helpful in like assisting. But yeah, so those are like the big three that we're trying to associate with. Um, we'll see if it's going to be through runner space or not. I don't necessarily love the idea of it, but could be a reality for us.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, so I think getting onto national television is a big thing in 5 years. That's how it would kind of come to be. We would probably have all of the Olympic team somehow involved in the CTFL at that point. Prize fund in excess of like probably like, I mean, if it really went well, probably like $1 million.
Oh
We'll
yeah,
see if we get
in
to
this
that.
scenario, you're getting like like all the big sponsors are kind of biting to
Yeah,
get their name on it.
exactly. So I think like by that time, like that could be reality. Yeah, and then continuing to host like these like high school events and creating more of a series around it, it would be another kind of big goal of ours, and I think that's a realistic one that we can pull off. It's a hard one. I've never been asked like if everything actually went right.
I
Like
mean,
sponsorship
realistically,
money would be
there's always going to be hiccups, but like let's
yeah.
just for the thought exercise, let's pretend like
Yeah, I
yeah,
think we'd also expand the teams. Team merchandise would be in like sports check and like running room and like all these things. So, like it would be like a proper league at that point, where like everyone knows about it within the country. Like maybe to the point where PWHL is at right now, and maybe even a little bit larger, just because like we do have both like men and women competing in the league, so
yeah.
you kind of have a little bit of advantage there. So yeah, I think those would be the big topic points. Like everyone knows about it. You're a fan of a certain team. You've expanded the league to include a couple more events potentially, have more teams. So we'll have probably 6 to 8 teams at that point. Um, yeah.
So when can we expect the triple jump in the CTFL?
Yeah, so I think that we've been debating adding of more events. It's always the question of like, do we have too many almost as is,
Yeah,
or do we have not enough? So Michael Johnson's perspective of not including any field events was like, I think one that created a lot of buzz, which was smart of him sometimes, but obviously not really good for the sport. Um, I don't know. That's a hard one. Like I'm not even sure. Like I think in 5 years we will probably have 2 to 3 or more events. Um, we'll see. We have really good triple jumpers in the country now. Like a lot of them are part of our long jump
yeah.
crew.
I am aware that now you need an extra meter basically to do anything
Yeah,
compared to 10 years
exactly. So
ago.
like yeah, so we have some really solid athletes at our disposal at this point. So it'd be hard, but yeah, like I don't know. I think it probably like 3 years out we might add triple jump, and that's in a little bit. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, you're probably you might be retired at that point. Um,
Well,
but
I'm 33 now, so we'll see how many.
36.
You know what? I have less injuries now than I did when I was 19, so I might still be around. I might get like
Okay,
the inaugural season, and then I'll be done. But
good. Okay, so we'll try and add it for you
yeah,
before you retire. Let us know when you're retiring, and then we'll
yeah.
maybe add
Or
it.
if we grow enough by that point, we'll put our name on it, and we'll have like we'll sponsor the prize money for the triple jump and get it going.
Yeah,
Um,
there you go.
but
Okay.
I understand what you mean by the number of events. Like if you look at the Diamond League, I think they generally I'm going to say roughly they offer about a quarter of the events at each meet. So like half
Mhm.
the events and then half of those for men, half of them for women.
Yeah,
A lot of the like kind of circuit meetings that I've competed in Europe, they generally have smaller rotations of events. So like triple jump's actually kind of I'd say on the more difficult side to actually find a lot of quality meets for like if you're not at like the Olympic level, but you're like a little above the like national level, let's say. Um,
yeah.
it is hard to find meats for that. Surprisingly, pole vault, there actually seems to be tons of like street pole vault meets and like circuit pole vault meets around. But so I understand you got to like you don't want to go too wide and try to do everything perfectly. You want to like bring it in, get this working, and then maybe like think about bringing in some other things.
Exactly. Yeah, it's always about quantity over quality sometimes. So for us, it's about like not even about the prize money, which in part it is, but it's also because like we only have so many resources to cover content, and we want to be able to do a good job for our athletes to like for them to really see the benefit of joining the CTFL and like improving it.
Yeah, right on. Well, that's all my let's say harder questions. Now I have a few added. I didn't send you these in advance because I kind of wanted like the authentic reaction.
Yeah.
This is really hard hitting journalism that we're about to do. So
Hmm.
are you ready for some from some of these hardballs?
Okay.
All right, here's the first one. So this one's for you personally as an athlete. So what is the fastest animal that you think you could beat in a foot race?
I've looked this up before.
Yeah,
Um, 'Cause I think I clock out at like 30 something kilometers an hour. I forget how fast I know
yeah.
I can outrun the big one is an alligator in like a straight line. Like I don't
They're
need
they're
to
a
do
little
any
sneaky
zigzagging.
fast though.
Yeah, they're sneaky fast, but like apparently like their top end speed, I'm faster than their top end speed where like the average human being isn't. So like out of the water, I could just run straight. So I'm gonna go with the alligator because I know I can
An
outrun it
alligator.
technically.
All
Yeah,
right.
the average alligator versus me, I can get.
I guess I could have went a little more specific. I could have gave you the number of meters because it definitely matters if it's
Mm,
60 meters or 400 meters.
yeah,
But
yeah. If
um,
it's 60, I could. If you want, I think I could outrun a small dog.
small dog.
Which,
All right, here's another one, a little more related to the league. So
mm,
I'm a big time investor. I like I hit it big, and I give you $1 billion to build a stadium anywhere in Canada for the CTFL. Like you'll host your final in this league. Where are you building
yep.
the stadium? Anywhere in the country.
Ottawa needs a new stadium. But um, oh, I mean, like it has to go in like Toronto, I guess. Like it's like the largest city in the country. It's also pretty central too. Um, or Montreal because they cut the McGill track team, and
Yeah,
that was a hard blow. So I think uh, I'll still go Toronto because that's where a lot of our athletes are kind of based out of too. So
yeah,
yeah,
that makes sense.
they also need a facility. They took away the Pan Am Center, so
Yeah,
right, it was the Pan Am one at York, so they need a new one.
makes sense. I'd say kind of for the aesthetics, maybe like the. Have you been to the one out in Coquitlam?
No, I haven't. I was injured both those years for
Yeah,
nationals, so
it's. Oh, sorry,
I couldn't
that
go
one's in
out.
Langley, but there's another one like in Coquitlam,
Oh, you're
kind
right.
of just like
Yeah.
half an hour away. It's like right in the
Yeah, that's where
mountains.
we host our prelim there actually now. So
Yeah,
my
yeah, like
videographer last year, so I want to go out this year.
yeah. That one would be beautiful.
Yeah,
You put like a big like style stadium
big
there.
track there.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right, here's another one. This one's more for the athletes in the league. So
Mm,
you're on a 10-hour road trip from let's say
mhm.
Toronto. What's 10 hours away? Like Trois
Ooh,
Rivières. I don't know.
yeah. Yeah, you could go there.
All right, 10-hour road trip from Toronto to somewhere deep into Quebec. You have to bring four athletes from the CTFL, current or present, with you. Who is in the car?
Uh, I always like talking with Marco, so Marco Europe
Mhm.
would be one of them. I think that would be a good one. Um, we're bringing him on the trip this year because he's been a good character. Brandon Letts would be another solid one. Um, yeah, it's so hard. Um,
You
I
know, whoever you
liked
leave out in
I
the car is going to be mad at you.
I know. I'm also gonna bring Adam Andres from Manitoba. Him and I connected a lot last year because we brought him on the Boston trip as well, and he had a breakthrough season and won like the silver medal at nationals. So that was a really cool one. Um, Probably my favorite moment of last year was with him. Um, and then the final one could be Sarah Mitten because I think she was the reason why so many Olympians signed up in the first year of the CTFL. So, and she's also a really really nice person. She's from
Yeah,
out east. So we have a central person. We have like central. Canada. We also have Ontario, and then we also have a person from out east. So I think that's good coverage for the
It's a good
CTFL.
mix. It's funny. I think
Yeah,
I don't know what year Sarah Mitten was born. It was 95 or 96, somewhere around there.
yeah,
So
I
she's from Nova
remember.
Scotia and I'm from Nova Scotia, and
Yeah,
like she went through the Legion Nationals. I went through the Legion. Like we went through like all the same teams, but I don't think I've ever met her because we must have just
really?
been like her first year doing Legions. I must have been just finished. So like I
Yeah,
feel like like we're just like walking by each other all the time, but we've never actually met each other.
yeah. She's funny. She's like a larger than life person, but like she's not tall, right? Like
Mm,
she's like 5'6", 5'7" kind of thing. So
yeah,
like I remember the first year that I met her in London, and I was like, I was expecting, you know what I mean? Like I work with Tim Netto, who is like two-time Olympian in shot put, and he's like 6'7". So I was like kind of anticipating like 6'8", 6'7". So I was like, anticipating like Sarah to be like bigger, like a taller
yeah.
person, and like you know what I mean. But she's just like, but she's so nice. Like she's like, and it's crazy how much power she has. Like it's like amazing. Hopefully that wasn't offensive to her.
No, I've seen some
But
of
yeah, it's just like
her training videos. Like yeah, it's her and like the other like the group of like 4 or 5 like world class shot putters like at the top. Like they all move like crazy. Like I can't remember her
yeah,
name off the top of my head. The Dutch shot putter. I think she was doing hang
yeah,
cleans for like 10 at like 210 or 220. Or
yeah,
sorry, I think it was
yeah,
110 kilos, so 245 pounds.
yeah. They're
Just in,
crazy.
yeah, it's crazy. Anyway,
Yeah.
I got one more for you, and then I'll let you get out of here. If you had to add one non-standard track and field event to the CTFL, so this is something that doesn't exist in any form in any track league. So like you can't add a 300, you can't add a 600. It has to be an event that doesn't exist at all, like in any track league. Which event would you
Right.
add?
I'm a hurdler, so I'm
Okay,
gonna do. I saw my training partner do it once, and it's intense. It's the 600-meter hurdles. It's not
600
like I
hurdles.
mean, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I saw him do it in training, and it's messed up. But like, I think that would be like a crazy event to add, because like you see four hurdlers, like they're dead the last 100 meters. So like it'd be really cool to kind of, and I think I'd be really good at that event too.
yeah,
So I would go with the 600-meter hurdles if that was like allowed, because that's like a completely new event that doesn't
yeah.
exist anywhere.
I guess if you're putting the hurdles up like all the way around anyway, you might as well like you could do 800. You could go 2 laps around, just leave the hurdles
Yeah.
up. And, yeah,
Yeah, so it's hard because like the spacing's different. So like you have to add a hurdle like in a weird spot. But yeah, that'd be cool. But we also have like fun fact, we have like the 4x2 at the end of the CTFL finals.
oh yeah, yeah.
Which isn't like a common one, but like that dictates the next year's draft positions.
Mm,
So like whoever finishes first gets the first overall draft pick. So that's pretty cool. I think that's
yeah.
our other like big that
This
we
is,
that we have that no one else has. And
yeah,
it's a mixed. It's 4x2.
mixed 4x2. I actually like the idea of the mixed relay teams that they added to the Olympics and World Championships.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
the only maybe problem I have is it does like say someone like Femke Bull who she runs everything like they throw in her everything, so she has to run like now 2 relays plus her hurdles plus if she was doing like a flat 400, it's like you can dilute it a little too much if you have too many events. But the
yeah,
actual idea of like the 2 men and the 2 women, I think that's a good idea for the
yeah.
sport.
I agree. I
Cool.
agree. I agree.
Well, that's all my questions for you. So thank you so much for taking the time to talk, and best of luck growing the league, and hopefully I'll see you around the track this year. All
Thank you very much, and yeah, I look forward to seeing you.
right, thank you very much.